It's the content you want. It's the content you need. Welcome to Damon Bruce Plus, where today it is my absolute pleasure to host the Home and Home with Larry Krueger, who is nice enough to join right here, right now, from Krueger Studios in an undisclosed location. How are you, Larry?
What's up? Happy Wednesday. Not a happy Wednesday for the Warriors, but Giants got to win.
Larry got a new mic. Woo.
Got a new mic. Feeling good.
Look at you. Look at you. I like the mic arm, too. It's kind of coming out of the side like mine is now.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice.
It's off. There could be I could have an assistant who's holding it right now.
Are you paying an intern to just hold a microphone? Because, man, that is a bad waste of precious resources at this particular time in our careers.
That is not how I chose to stimulate the economy. It is attached to the table, and it's nice. It gives me arm room. If I want to stand, I can stand. If I want to sit, I can sit. I got the TV. I got the lights. I got the cockpit here, man. How you doing? How's your Wednesday going? How are the little guys rolling around for you today? Anybody? You didn't go to the ER today, have you?
No, no ER trips were necessary today, although the day's not over, So, but it's what it really is two constant state of germs that are just rolling around our house. Jillian and I, we've really decided, we've thought about it. Somebody in this house has been sick. At least one of us. Every week for 3 years now. I mean, it's somebody in this house has a runny nose at all times. There's always a Bruce with a runny nose.
Yep.
You're
in the runny nose. You're in the runny nose era.
It really is the runny nose era. Hey, let me just get right out of the way since we're doing it over here and say thank you so much to Ike's Love and Sandwiches for being a sponsor of the Damon Bruce Show. Thank you to my guys at Metallica's Blackened Whiskey for getting it done as well. And I guess I got to take that down because it covers up my forehead. Looks like I got a whiskey bottle on my forehead. But two fantastic sponsors. Go get yourself a delicious sandwich. Go get yourself a delicious glass of whiskey. And Larry is, of course, brought to us by A Pig and a Pickle, New York Sausage Company. And there's one more that I always forget.
Telmetrics. TELMETRIX.co. Check them out online. Telmetrics.co.
We're what you call sponsor and business friendly over here. Welcome to the Home and Home. And Larry, I want to start with something that I totally forgot to get to on my show. I actually thought it was going to be a large portion of my show, and then I just started rolling on what the Warriors did and did not do last night. Peter Hartlab of the San Francisco Chronicle picked up on a tweet of mine last night. And this is something that was bothering me. I didn't want to make fun of any Kings crowd, but I noticed they were handing out white T-shirts up in Sacramento when the Warriors were wearing white jerseys. And I always thought, geez, that's a stupid look. Number one, I hate the black jerseys that the Warriors wear. The Warriors, once they get to the postseason, should stop trying to sell whatever alt jersey they got and wear the yellows at home and the blues on the road. It should be gold at home and blue on the road. They hand out an arena full of gold T-shirts, Larry, only to look like the game's being played in Los Angeles. I mean, it looked like a Lakers crowd was in there last night. Everyone wearing gold while the Lakers are wearing gold and the Warriors are wearing black. I don't understand why you would allow your crowd to dress like your opponent.
Well, as far as merchandising and this and that, obviously we're in the uniform era. It's no longer like the Yankees and the Cubs where you have one road and one home, and that's it.
They don't even call them home and road uniforms in the NBA anymore.
Oh yeah, just uniforms. Personally, I feel exactly the same way from the standpoint of the uniforms bother me, but it's more the court. That court is so bad looking when it's just got the black center and they make it just gray. The rest of it's gray. I feel like I'm watching a game in Brooklyn. Have you seen Brooklyn's court?
I hate that court.
It's just it's a ridiculous amount of gray. And it televises terribly. And if I didn't love the Warriors colors and the Warriors uniforms, I would say it's one thing. But I mean, I love their real uniforms. And then if they want to go old school, but stay with the blue and the yellow, That was your color scheme, and I agree. Blue on the road, white at home, or the opposite, I guess. Right? Blue at home, white on the road.
Well, and I want that golden court. I mean, you're the Golden State Warriors. You're not the deep, dark, gray, depressing Warriors. I don't like it. Somebody says the mics are off, so one of you is way louder than the other, one soft. Well, who's louder than the other? Who's loud? I mean, I don't know what people have been complaining about this. Let me try to turn you up a little here. I mean, I don't think that there's much I can do. Or you're the one who's louder? Am I the one who's louder? I don't care. Just suffer through it. We got bigger things to get to.
I think maybe I'm a little too close to the mic. I don't know. My mic shows that it's registering correctly.
Yeah, and I think I hope everything's fine over here. I haven't touched anything. So look. Today sounds pretty good. You're equal. So this guy, Kyle, you scare the hell out of me, telling me, one is not very good. And then he's like, oh, but today it's better. Kyle.
You can just screw with people in these things.
Seriously,
just you gotta monitor the chat, but monitor it. You know what I mean? You're monitoring it.
By the way, Allison is in total agreement with what we're saying here. The uniforms, that city version, again, it's
fine on a Tuesday night in February. But guess what? It's playoff time. We got a great uniform. We got great colors. We got great fans. Let's put our best foot forward. And think about it from the TV perspective. More of your crowd. You've got whatever that place holds, 20,000, whatever, maybe less, 18. There's the crowd watching at home is so much larger. Maybe think about what the court looks like. That court looked terrible last night. That gray and black center with the Warriors wearing black unis. The whole thing looked bad.
Yeah. And then the game happens.
The
game happens. And all I can tell you, Larry, is that, there were early indicators that the Warriors were going to lose that game. When you're knocking down all those threes, they have hit but one, and they're leading at half. When they have a parade to the free throw line, and I didn't think necessarily that
plus 20.
Yeah.
Plus 20 from the foul line.
On your home court.
I'll tell you, did the NBA want to see a long series? Plus 20 at the foul line. So for those of you who don't understand what I'm talking about, the Warriors shot 6 free throws and made 5. Right? The Lakers shot 29 free throws and made 25. And the only thing I'll say is every time there's some weird looking thing, have you noticed that it always seems like it benefits the league and its TV partners so that a highly rated matchup goes 7? Like if the Warriors blow the Lakers off the floor last night, probably a third of the audience just monitors the series. They don't watch it. But the Lakers winning game 1, stealing back home court, now it's almost sure to go 7. That's where the biggest money is. I just hate to see that level of a disparity, but decided by the refs. I mean,
well, it certainly.
You can say it's the Warriors and the way they played, Damon, but come on.
Well, look, getting to the free
that's
throw
a huge
line,
disparity.
This is something that I was talking about with Nick Wright, who was nice enough to jump on with me today. Getting to the free throw line is a skill, and it's a skill that the Golden State Warriors are terrible at. They're terrible at getting to the line. And I'm not saying that you got to act your way there, but you got to play your way there. You need to know how to get there. And the Warriors do not know how to go to the free throw line. And they also leave an open door invitation for their opponent to stand there all night long with the way that they play, they reach, they grab. And that's something that Steve Kerr has harped on all year. The Warriors have committed more fouls, I think, than any other NBA team. They were among the worst at the very least. And the Lakers are the best when it comes to getting to the free throw line and keeping their opponent off the free throw line. So that was certainly in play in that game last night. What I thought was the biggest problem, though, in that game last night was, so you're not playing Jonathan Kuminga. And I'm not even going to argue about that. But to me, for a team that looks a little bit out of gas at times, the one guy who's got the fullest tank of gas in the world, and in a feel-out game, just throw Kuminga out there just to see how he looks. I mean, how can you even say Kuminga might fit in Game 2 if you didn't even take a look at him in Game 1? Give him a look just to see how he fits the series. But if you're not going to do that, and as I said, I think when we were talking about this, man, JaMychal Green might be heard from. We see him in the first half. He knocks down a couple of buckets, a couple of free throws, a corner three. I don't think the Lakers prepared to even see him. I'm not even sure that they were aware he was on the roster, so they might have been surprised by it. But either way, it was momentarily effective. And then in the second half, no JaMychal Green. I don't understand Steve Kerr's rotations at times.
I agree. I agree. It's baffling. It's baffling. I mean, Jonathan Kuminga, 6'9", full of energy. So what are you telling us, Steve? You're just I've been billing Steve as the guy who brings everybody along. I need to change it and amend it. Steve Kerr is the guy who brings everybody along except Jonathan Kuminga. I mean, it's like who we leave on the curb. The guy is too talented, too long, too athletic. Tell him what you need from him and demand it of him, but don't shut him down and turn him off. Come on. I mean, I agree. You're going to need him. You're absolutely going to need him. I would like to see him on LeBron. And you know what? You're already getting into the bonus early on in these games anyway. What difference does it matter if Kuminga commits a few of those fouls? Or does a foul from Kuminga hurt more than a foul from a veteran? I mean, yeah, he's going to foul. He's going to commit some fouls. All right. But he also may block a shot. He may finish a couple times at the rim.
Right.
I'll tell you the thing that was the most disturbing and, among a number of disturbing things in the game. LA plus 26 points in the paint. You got to take it to the rim. Jordan Poole thinks he's Steph Curry because he plays with Steph Curry. Guess what, Jordan? You are Steph Curry at the foul line, and you're not Steph Curry at the three-point line. Keep saying that to yourself. I am Steph Curry at the foul line. I'm not Steph Curry at the three-point line. Let's do it all together. I am Steph Curry at the free throw line. I am not Steph Curry at the three-point line. Do we have that down? Do we have the theme? Do we understand who we are? All right, let's go from there. Stop hoisting deep threes like you're Dame Lillard or Steph when you're shooting 32%. Put it on the deck, go to the rim, score in the lane, go to the line. The most criminal thing that I think I saw in that entire box score is Jordan Poole, who's a 93% or whatever foul shooter, took one free throw. Jordan, that is your game. You have to live at the line. If you got to go lift weights this summer, then go lift weights, but embrace it. That's your game. You can get by anybody, go to the line and make free throws. This guy would be a Malik Monk type scorer if he just would attack the rim.
It's
other
than that,
I like the game.
No, it's a weird game that young man has. It really is. And he needs...
Are they coaching him? Is there anybody? They got 9 coaches. I just gave him all he needs to know.
Yeah. No, it's something else that it feels like lessons that should have been imprinted in him either don't get imprinted in him or are quickly forgotten. I don't understand it. Maybe he is not the most coachable guy out there. I don't know. I really don't know, but it's weird the way he has gone about his career. He plays out of control so often. And the 2 biggest possessions of the game, when score, time left on the clock, and moments are up, he has that drive where he does try to get to the rim, but he's completely out of control, and he throws a lefty prayer layup up over LeBron, doesn't go down, and then you have the shot from 38 feet with about 10 seconds left on the clock, plenty of time for Curry or Clay to maybe pop free off some off-ball screening somewhere, action somewhere. That's the thing. There's 10 seconds. 10 seconds is an eternity in an NBA possession. Now, Jordan was wide open, as most human beings are, 38 feet away from the basket. And he has hit that shot. And I'll tell you, I saw something from Kareth on Twitter that I emailed to myself because I thought, well, that is pretty interesting. Last night was the very first time in NBA playoff history that a team had 3 players, Steph, Clay, and Jordan Poole, make 6 3-pointers each. First time in NBA history, 3 different guys, could all be your epicenters of gravity, if you will, because they're the hot hand. 3 different guys hit at least 6 threes, and the Warriors lose that game. That is where I'm a little worried for them in this series. I started the conversation with Nick Wright today with this statement, and I guess I want to just get right into it with you, Larry. Are you putting Game 2 on must-win status? Because I am.
Yeah, because it's just the first 2 in Sacramento were in Sacramento. These 2 are at home.
No one on that Sacramento team knows how to win a damn thing except the coach, and he ain't playing.
Yeah, but I do like the Warriors a lot in Game 2. I think they'll bounce back, but either way, I mean, you're right though. What your point you just made? How many games are you going to be plus 45 at the 3-point line and lose? I mean, if you're plus 45 at the 3-point line, that overcomes a lot of bad things. So that the fact that they were plus 45 and still lost on their home floor is bad. They got to decide what they want to do with their bench. They're not getting anything off their bench. DiVincenzo has become a real zero offensively. Yesterday, literally a zero. Last night. I mean, where are the points coming from? Where are the points coming from off the bench? I would say, and then the other thing is I'd like to see Klay Thompson. He had 25, but it was not an impactful 25. I'd like to see Klay Thompson hunt more shots in the mid-range because to me, that's where he is super high percentage. And that's really what it's going to take. It's going to take some high percentage basketball to win these games. So, I mean, but DiVincenzo, I mean, if you're Kerr, do you keep going with DiVincenzo? I mean, how about giving Kuminga some of these minutes? I'd take a few away from DiVincenzo. He's not particularly playing all that well. He's not scoring at all. I think you need to have you're going to need to get some easy buckets, and Kuminga attacking the rim might give you some easy buckets.
Or it might get you into the bonus quicker. Or, it might not equal points on this possession, but because he's being aggressive, because guys are going to overplay him because of that speed and athleticism, you reach the bonus quicker. And that's where the points that he didn't score on this possession might show up for you a little bit later on in the quarter. It was a highly entertaining game. It was more up and down than I thought it would be. The Lakers, I think, that's the fullest their tank of gas is going to be. Because they had, they took care of Memphis in 6, where the Warriors didn't handle their business at home. So they had to go and burn all that energy to win Game 7 up in Sacramento. And now there is no time off in between games. Game 2 is Thursday night at Chase Center. So here we frickin' go with what I think is nothing short of the biggest game of the year now for the Golden State Warriors. They have to win it to keep within shouting distance of this series. The Lakers had a mission. The mission was to split. That mission can become, a near halfway won the war if they pick up both these wins, because I'll tell you right now, the Warriors will lose twice in the 3-game sample size that they have. So the Lakers are essentially up 3-0 right now in this series because the Warriors are catching 2 losses at that gym in L.A. because they don't play well there. They never have. Against bad Laker teams, good Laker teams, Steph, Clay, no one shoots well in that gym. No one shoots very well in that gym. So
when they light it that way, because they shoot decently in that exact same gym for the Clippers, it's just the lighting's a little different.
No?
I'm not sure. I'm not. It does. It's like the crowd's darkened for the Lakers and in the courts in the light. I don't know if that changes the depth perception, but you're right. And then their feel good is not there. But I mean, that's going to have to change or they're going home because the Lakers now have home court and they're going to have to steal one there. I'm not that concerned. I think the Lakers,
If
will.
Anthony Davis looks like that again, you should be that concerned.
Well, I mean, they're going to have to, force the Lakers to use other people and do things differently against Anthony Davis. Give him the proper respect. Force him to become more of a passer, and let's see if he can find open guys. Let's see if they can knock down shots. I mean, I'll say this: LeBron, Damon, in the last series shot 22% against the Grizzlies in that first round from the arc, beyond the arc. So, I think his foot is affecting his deep shot. And, he was 1 of 8 on threes in game 1 against the Warriors. I would say, play way off LeBron. Don't let him drive to the hole and dare him to shoot that 3. I think that's one thing I would do. And then I would double Davis and force him to find somebody else. I mean, who else does this team have? They're not going to play make with Austin Reeves. Russell's about Russell. Vanderbilt, nice player, but he's more of a complimentary piece. I don't think they have anybody to initiate offense.
Vanderbilt did about as good a job defensively on Curry as I've seen any player in this league do.
Yeah, well, he's huge, and you look at the matchup. He's long and dominant against Curry, who's 6'3". Vanderbilt goes about 6'8", and he's got long arms, so he plays like 6'10". That's a big guy on Curry.
He's a forward with the guard's foot speed.
Yeah,
he's fast,
great athlete.
He's long, and whatever he doesn't give you offensively, look at it this way. Steph Curry can't disappear for a quarter and a half, and he did. He scored 10 points right out of the rip, which was a real nice start for Steph Curry, and then everything changed. Curry did not score in the second, and I don't think he hit a bucket until about 7 minutes remaining in the third quarter. So Steph Curry can't go 12, 11, 10, 9, or 12, 13, 14, 15. He can't go 16 minutes on the clock without scoring, without being involved. It just can't happen. You got to figure out a way to get him involved. And the whole comeback that the Warriors, by the way, and this is the shame of it all, because had the Warriors come back to win that game, now we are talking like, oh, it is a gentleman's sweep. This is Warriors in 5. Hell, it could be Warriors in 4. That would have been devastating to the Lakers had they lost being up 14 in the fourth quarter and let it all go. That would have been a hangdog Laker team going into game 2. I feel like the Warriors are a little bit in trouble here, Larry. I mean, I don't. I
really
get it back and win game 2? Yes, but then I think they come back down 3-1. I don't see them losing. I don't see them winning at Staples Center in a gym they don't shoot well in when they're afraid to go into the paint. And I don't know why, because going into the paint is how you won the Sacramento. To come back from 14 down, they put the ball back in Steph's hand. Get this whole, like, the offense starts when Steph gives up the ball. Nah, I don't think so. Not in this series. I think they got to go Steph pick and roll madness. I really do.
I think the Warriors should dial it up, go small, and run them off the floor. I really do. I mean, you've got Davis.
You take Looney off the court, though?
Well, I mean, I'd like to maybe, obviously I don't want to take Looney off the court. He's playing so well. But as far as, even if you don't go small, you can go up tempo. I want to get out and I want to run. I want to play fast. If you play fast, LeBron can't play fast. AD can't play fast. Russell doesn't want to play fast. Reeves is not going to play. You've got a speed advantage, and you just came out of a series where you played incredibly fast. Don't fall into the half court Laker. You're not going to win that battle. Anthony Davis is too skilled in the half court. LeBron is too good. Reeves is too good a shooter. To me, Russell's very good scorer in the half court. I'd try to run him. I'd try to absolutely run him, because I think the Warriors can play that pace without turning it over better than the Lakers can. I think the Warriors turn the ball over a lot, but when they run, man, I just think they've got an ability to run. And if you're going to go small and you're going to give all these minutes to Poole and DiVincenzo anyway, and Peyton, that's the majority of your bench. The guys you want to play, Steve, those guys can run. And that would be another idea to play Kuminga, another guy who could absolutely run. But I try to play as fast as I can if I'm Golden State, and I would try to get Curry more shots. Curry's got to take the most. Come on, this is Steph Curry. He just came off a 50-point deal. It's Curry on a level by himself, and then there's everybody beneath. He needs to take the most shots. He didn't even take the most shots on the team last night. He's got to take the most shots, and it's got to be by a pretty wide margin. It should be a lot about, guys, let's work to get Steph the looks. This is, that's when the team took off. I mean, to me, one of the things we haven't hit on is the look that Steph gave when Poole missed the deep three. And I already harped on Poole for taking the deep three. You're not Steph. But at the same time, Steph's got to take that shot. That ball, there's got to be a little bit less free flow and a little bit more urgency to get the ball in the hands of Steph Curry, the world's greatest shooter, in the fourth quarter, in the biggest moments of the playoff games.
Back and look at that.
Seems like a no-brainer.
The reason why Steph kicked it to Draymond, who then kicked it to Poole, was because they did a great job jumping Steph at about half court. They really did. They were all over him. What I thought was a terrible decision by Steve Kerr last night. Do you realize that, and there's a part of me that understands the flow. You want to play in the flow. You don't want to give a timeout there and have them set up a defense. You think you got an advantage on a break, so you're going to want to push it. You're going to want to have that championship DNA come out at that right time. Like, I get why Steve felt that way. Steve had 2 timeouts. There were 2 timeouts. I would have loved to seen them call up the single best set of screens they've ever come up with to get Curry loose for a 3 anywhere other than just, well, hopefully we get a good look from someone. I mean, that to me is the coaching sin of the night. Not even Kuminga rotations, JaMychal Green, whatever we're complaining about what Kerr did. Call a fucking timeout in the biggest moment of the night. There's no problem there. Call the timeout, set up the best play you got, whatever you practice and run in every single day. Go ahead. Do that. Do what works the best. Sideline, out-of-bounds play you got. Let's see it right here, because you need it right here.
And you're saying, and not just let them go. Call the timeout and communicate exactly what you want.
Yeah. When you see how all over Steph Curry it is, and now it's Draymond at the top of the key, and now you got 10 seconds left. That's a lot of time to talk about. That's enough time to where you actually want to burn clock before you take that last shot. Because you don't want the Lakers going back up the court looking for we won it on their last shot bucket. I just think you gotta coach in that moment. You can't just leave it all up to your players, no matter who your players are. Phil Jackson called timeouts in big moments, and Michael Jordan was on the court. He did it. I thought that Steve Kerr should have called a timeout in that moment. Game 2 adjustments. Again, I think they got to get the ball back in Curry's hand. He needs to be the epicenter of it all. He needs to be the initiator. He needs to go pick and roll everywhere he can. Go in small ball. I also thought, Larry, one of the biggest sequences in the entire game is when Wiggins came down with those 2 offensive rebounds and 3 consecutive threes were missed by the Warriors. That's where that game,
that's where the air came out of the balloon.
Yeah. Because that would have sent the building's roof off the place if they hit a 3 right there. And now the last minute of that game feels much different had they hit one of those threes.
Yeah, they needed some big offense at the end. For me, it's a tough call because it's like they're playing awfully small right now, and they're still not really, and they're getting crushed inside again. When they get beat for 3 reasons usually. They turn it over. The turnovers were fine. The rebounding and points in the paint, and they lost on the glass, and they were. They lost at the paint, and then the Lakers shot so many more free throws. That's it right there. I To me, that was the parade to the foul line is got to end. They've got to figure out a way to defend without fouling, not give up, get into the bonus so soon. The free throw disparity can't be what it was. That was a huge thing. But the other thing is, it's like, are you going to go back to Kuminga at any point, or is he just buried? And it's like, and then if you're gonna play Moody and Kuminga, which I would play, I would, who don't you play? And I guess I would take some minutes away from Dante and Jermichael Green. But I don't, they're in a weird situation here because they don't match up well. It's not a great matchup to take on the Lakers. But the one thing I think is hovering beneath the surface, and as the series progresses, Damon, we're going to see more of it. There's no off time, and this team, I think, if you try to play up tempo, I think you could really get them in a compromised position late in the series, because I don't think LeBron's going to be able to run up and down for 7 games here. And AD, they'd rather play half court. And if I'm the Warriors, I just go full tempo and see if you're going to play all these guards, just run and see if you can, speed it up. And then you're going to have to muck it up against Anthony Davis. I mean, you're going to need Kuminga. You're going to need to throw some fouls at Anthony Davis to challenge him. You got to give him different looks. I mean, whatever they did in game 1, rip up that game plan and start a new game plan, because he did whatever he wanted.
Question comes here from Rick saying, Poole missed that shot, but had he made it, you guys would be praising Poole, or would you still be saying it's a horrible shot?
It's a bad shot. He's a 32% 3-point shooter. He's 3.5 feet behind the line. Steph Curry's open. By definition, that's a bad shot. This is not Rick. It's not every criticism is revisionist history. And I said it at the time watching it. So I mean, I didn't write a prediction yesterday in a column that I could cite or something. But I mean, right. Yeah, I thought it was a bad shot in the moment. And that is the issue with Jordan Poole. He plays with Steph. He thinks he is Steph. You're not Steph. You're a great free throw shooter, one of the best in the league. Go to the line. And you're so fast that you can go inside at will. But he doesn't want the contact. He doesn't like being touched. He doesn't like being bumped. So it bothers him to such a degree that he'd rather camp at the 3-point line and hoist. And he was well past the line. And come on, understand your role. You're on the floor with Jordan. Get the ball to Jordan. That's basically it. He's on the floor with Steph Curry, the greatest shooter, and there's plenty of time. And Steph's open. Get it to him. Should have been Steph's shot.
A funny video, a very funny video that I saw earlier today was, Tyrese Halliburton and Channing Frye talking, and I think it was maybe Taylor Rooks was the woman who was moderating. But basically the whole thing is basically them watching that game live in real time. They watch the Poole shot, and Channing Frye is like, "What? Are you kidding me?" And Tyrese Halliburton was like, man, he was hitting his shots tonight. I've seen him make that shot. That was a good shot. He was unguarded. That was a really good shot. And Channing Frye's like, "You think that's a good shot?" Halliburton was like, "Yeah, I would have taken that shot." Channing Frye goes, "Well, that's why you're sitting here with us tonight."
Now, the difference is there. One guy used to play and one guy's playing now. All players cover all players. Once you realize the song's over, the dance is over, you get your objectivity back. Now Channing Frye, if Channing Frye was still a player, you'd be like, you know what? He might have that other perspective. But when you don't play anymore, you're suddenly like, hey, you know what? That was a terrible shot. And it's a terrible shot, not because of the distance, even though because you're right, he will hit some bombs, but you didn't need to take that shot, and you needed the bucket. It's too wild, and he had a couple other wild shots. He had some good moments in the second quarter. God knows, Poole had a nice second quarter. What do you have?
And you know what his worst moment in that second quarter was the totally way too far from the basket, too early in the shot clock heat check.
Right, he'll still do that. That was, it's like it kind of reminds me of the Warriors early on, the early edition of the Warriors, where they would do the opposite of the Spurs. Spurs at the end of a run settle in for a real high percentage 2. The Warriors at the end of the run are trying to like bring the house down. A deeper 3.
Right.
A deeper 3. Hey! The feel good. The Warriors were so motivated in the early days by the feel good. And then after a while you realize get the unbelievable high percentage 2 and it becomes a dagger. And that's how you finish teams. So it's just it's different perspectives, but Poole's great at the line. And the worst part is this team needs badly, I think you said this before, but this team needs guys who are going to go inside. They don't have that.
Poole's got 4 years, $28 million on his contract. Why would he change now, right? And that's got to be the way he thinks about it. I play the way I play, the way I play, the way I play, the way I play. We won a title. I got paid. Screw everyone. I'm going to keep being me. And, I don't know if he's going to go changing. I think this is the guy. That's why I call him, he's the Jack in the Box taco. He's equal parts disgusting and delicious. And that's just, you are making a choice when you are ordering that Jack in the Box taco. You know what comes with it. And and people still go back to it. It can really work for you some nights, but boy, a couple hours later, the revenge is there. And
not like White Castle hamburgers, though. That's pretty bad too.
White Castles, those steamed hamburgers, those steamed hams, baby. Ooh.
Oh, they like paint it on. Have you ever seen them make it? They like paint it on. It's.
Oh well, they got.
If you have had any drinks and you go have White Castle, you'll feel like hell the next day.
Yeah, White Castle is a level of disgusting and delicious all at the same time. It really is. Just so we don't do a full hour on Warriors pain and what we didn't like, because I think so. Here's the thing: Warriors win Game 2, they absolutely, I think, still win this series. They lose Game 2, they're cooked.
Right? They got to have Game 2. Got to have Game 2, but come on, this team's been there before. I think they'll get Game 2. I just think it's a much more interesting series for the TV audience with the Lakers winning Game 1, and the Lakers had a parade to the foul line, and wow, Lakers won Game 1.
Hey, what do you know? And it happened early enough in the game to where if you weren't watching, you're not saying, there's any fix-in or anything. No, look, I'm not putting it on Ed Malloy, who I thought did a nice job not throwing Draymond off the court last night.
It's true.
Ed Malloy gave Draymond a tech, and then he gave him all the space to be as much Draymond as humanly possible without getting run from a game. So I got to give Ed Malloy at least a silver star. I don't think he gets a gold star last night, but a silver star for that. What'd you think of Embiid being named NBA MVP?
I mean, the guy had an incredible year. He's so talented. I mean, it's just as far as winning it over Jokic and
No. I mean, I'm not asking you to compare him to anyone, but I see the same thing. Here's a guy who has worked so hard and was so absent at the beginning of his career. He went through the Simmons thing. He went through the doubting in Doc Rivers, the constant state of he's about to get fired, the big trades that were made that brought in James Harden. And I think the guy's just a fighter. And to be that big and to lead the league in scoring, I mean, I got no problem with it. Did Jokic maybe get screwed a little? Maybe he did. But I have no problem with the historical context that means he doesn't get 3 in a row. Because in order to get 3 in a row, I mean, you got to be one of the greats, not just analytically greats. And you better be Michael Jordan if you're winning 3 NBA MVPs in a row. That's afforded to very few. It wasn't afforded to Jokic because I think there's just an historical precedent there. I'm cool with Embiid winning it. I love his journey. I love the guy's story. I think he's someone who he's funny. He's got personality. In a world where guys get to the league and they try to get their personalities out because it'll be dissected, he's still got a personality. And I got to give this up to Nick Wright too because he brought this up. Jokic has told you so many times he doesn't care about winning the MVP, you shouldn't care about him losing it. He doesn't, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Fine then. Give it to someone who really does, and you could see how much it meant to Embiid when he got it.
It's funny. He's an incredible talent. This guy wore, by the way, his as a rookie, he wore his jersey to the club afterwards. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
You remember seeing him? He's in the club. He's having a couple cocktails. He's got the Embiid Sixers jersey on. I mean, that's a flex. Wearing your actual jersey as an NBA player into the club. But yeah, and he credited Luke Mbamute, the former NBA player from Cameroon, who's his close friend, for, helping him along the way. And I thought that was really cool. And you're right. The journey's been long. He's had injuries, the whole trust the process and everything, but he's just an enormous offensive talent. If his footwork were even better, I think he could be like an all-time offensive talent because he's that special. But he's an amazing player. I mean, he stayed healthy. What is he? 300, close to 300 pounds.
Yeah.
He's got incredible skill, and guy just gets better and better. And it's just, is Philly going to take down Boston?
Yeah.
They beat them game 1. They beat in tonight's game 2 in Boston. I mean,
Embiid is back.
And Embiid, you're talking about 33, 10, and 4. I mean, Embiid has had some crazy nights this year too, where it's just like, you got to be kidding me.
Never go full Jeff says, fun fact, but in Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, Kumar is vegan, so they made soy White Castle burgers for him to eat in the movie. Well, that just shows you how old that movie was, because now they would just like CGI a burger into the guy's hand. You know what I mean? They'd make it look like a burger using computer graphics. I did not know that.
A classic movie, by the way. A classic movie.
I love good movie trivia. Neil Patrick Harris steals every scene he's in that movie. So thank you, Never Go Full Jeff. That is good knowledge that you shared with us here today, and I feel like we've all learned a little something. Did you notice at any point in time while the Warriors were, in a heated game, that the A's were actually working on a staff no-hitter? Did that even cross your... No?
Still hasn't.
They nearly had a staff no-hitter last night, Larry. Their rookie, Mason Miller, 7 hitless innings. And I'll tell you, there's not any reason to watch the A's, maybe other than Mason Miller. This kid throws fucking gas. I mean, he is awesome. They still lost 2-1, though. They still lose 2-1. 7 scoreless, hitless innings from your rook, and you still lose 2-1. I mean, that's just a crying shame. In other pitching news,
Lovelady gave it up behind him, I guess. Lovelady.
Oh. It's a tough name on a jersey, let's be honest.
Lovelady? Yeah, Lovelady came in and 2/3 of an inning gave up 2 runs, both Ernies, as they say. Richard Lovelady. Dick Lovelady.
Dick Lovelady.
That's what happens when you get a Dick Lovelady. Burns you every time.
Are you making up a name right now?
No, that's his name. Richard Lovelady.
Dick Lovelady.
Dick Lovelady. It's a great one. It's an all-timer right there.
I mean,
but he doesn't go by Dick. Surprisingly, he goes by Richard. Probably his friends call him Rich. Maybe Rich Lovelady. Even that sounds kind of interesting.
Now, a rich Lovelady, those are the ones who are hanging out at the Vesper bar like 2 a.m. in Vegas, right? Those are rich Loveladies. That's hysterical. Dick Lovelady. The announced paid attendance last night was like 2,000 fans, and that was a lie by about 2,000. The A's might have had the fewest amount of human beings ever in the Coliseum for a baseball game last night.
Well, I know they are trying their best, because somebody gave my wife like all these like vouchers for like just go online. You can't go to the certain games, but you want to go to other games. It's basically free, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think tickets for tomorrow's game against the Seattle Mariners can be had for like $4.
Who pays who on that?
Yeah, exactly right. You give me $4 to come in here, I'll be happy to. Yeah,
The A's are paying real reasonable prices.
How? That's a great. See, this would be a good sports talk radio topic. How much would it take for the A's to pay you to go to an A's game?
Yeah, what would it take? I would say I would do it for a 20 spot.
See, but you're over in the East Bay. I got to deal with a bridge. I got kids. I got a wife. She's going to want to come too. I'm going to have. I'm not bringing my kids to an abusive situation. So I'm not bringing the kids. This isn't one of those, bring your kids down to the ballpark. No, I'm not going to force my kids to be abused by John Fisher. I'm going to need about $650. I'm going to need about $650 to go to that game. Unless Dick Lovelady's pitching, in which case.
Yeah. If Dick Lovelady's on the bump, could you imagine calling that Dick Lovelady on the bump here? Yeah, I would say I'm a cheap date. I'll go. I'll go if you pay me. I don't know. I said 20. Make it 50. Make it 50.
You know who I like? You know who I really, really like? I love the guys from the Last Dive Bar. They've been trying to invite me out there to come and sit with them in the bleachers, and I got to find a day that makes that work. I do, because those are, if you had to have like a metric to measure fan loyalty, if you're like still showing up and going to every A's game, you are either the single greatest fan that has ever been born and are just completely impervious to bad baseball and abusive owner, or you have like a mental illness that just makes you need to sit in the Coliseum, at 81 times a year.
It'd be a great one is have a topic one day of who said, you know what? They ain't leaving. I'm going too. I'm going to Vegas with the A's. How many people are going? Who's going? Who's up? I'm selling my place in Pinole. I got a 2-bedroom in Mesa, and I'm going. I'm going to
Tom
Vegas.
Cruise and Jerry Maguire. Who's coming with me?
Who's coming with me? I'm carrying a box. The A's are carrying a box. They're walking to the door. Is Townie going? Who's going? Who's going to Vegas? Say, you know what? I want to get out of California anyway. If the A's are going, I'm going.
Did you ever see the thing that looked like it looked like it had all of Kron or KTVU's signage all over it to make it look like somebody did a screen grab right off of a newscast locally, and it said Lake Merritt announces it's moving to Las Vegas. Lake Merritt moving to Vegas.
Oh my God! It would be one of the most popular things to do probably in Vegas.
They could use the water. There is no doubt about it.
They could use it. Lake Merritt dries up in Vegas.
Have you seen the article? This is not a joke, by the way. This is Sam Gordon of the Las Vegas Review-Journal. He basically, and time is starting to tick now on the A's securing funding. Larry, there's a very real scenario brewing here where Las Vegas turns around to John Fisher and says, congratulations on your purchase of 46, 49 acres, whatever that was. Build whatever you want, but we're not giving you a penny for a stadium, and we don't necessarily even want the A's to occupy a stadium should you build it. Like, that could really happen, where the A's have played Oakland against Vegas to find out Vegas doesn't even want them either. That could actually happen. And there's like billboards popping up in Las Vegas saying, say no to the A's. Say no to the A's.
Why?
I'll tell you
what they mean. When they say no to the A's, what they mean is say no to any public funding for anything related to the stadium. Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean, they're taking it a step further. They're saying say no to John Fisher. He's a bad faith operator. The way that he's played Vegas against Oakland should make you not want to go into business with someone who does business like that. Just that's good business. This guy is sort of a scumbag. He is intentionally ending competition with a major league franchise by refusing to spend a penny on major league talent. And what teams work? What team really works in Las Vegas? The answer is the Golden Knights. And the Golden Knights really work in Las Vegas because they are of Las Vegas. They were an expansion team. And so Sam Gordon writes...
Well, they weren't just an expansion team. They were the most talented expansion team of all time.
Yeah. Expansion remains a far better option. John Fisher doesn't deserve Vegas. Vegas doesn't deserve the A's, especially in the light of the purchase of the 49 acres while talking to Oakland. It proves he's a bad faith operator. And look at that team. They're pathetic because he's an owner who won't spend money, even though he's got enough money to do it. They can do better with an expansion team, is what the movement... First of all, nobody ever really wanted Major League Baseball in Las Vegas anyway. It's an indoor town. That's an outdoor sport. But you can now build a dome with a translucent roof. We all get the new technology and all that stuff. But basically, the whole thing is, hey, this is way, way too precious of a major league destination to waste on a piece of shit owner like John Fisher. Like, go find any other billionaire and give them an expansion team in this town before you say, yeah, come on in, Oakland A's.
I know, but you're looking at things from the fans' perspective. From the owner's perspective, what strengthens their hand is generally the financial wherewithal of any one of their partners, in this case of their co-owners. And John Fisher is not just a wealthy man. John Fisher's the wealthiest. So in some ways, they would be getting rid of a guy who's an incredible, would be an incredible owner as far as the overall power or structure of the thing. The other thing is it's not like the A's have not been a competitive outfit. John Fisher could easily argue. I mean, his terribleness should be evaluated across the board. It's not necessarily black and white. To me, it's many shades of gray. I agree with you that it's reprehensible to do what he did, which is essentially sap off the general fund and carve yourself out a nice tiny profit while crying poor mouth, demanding public assistance for a stadium. But I mean, he decided to waste how many years of his franchise, how many years of his life on earth, as a billionaire, as one of the richest guy who could have built a brand new stadium in any part of Oakland that he chose to on his own dime and never missed a penny of it. That's how wealthy he is. But he doesn't think like that. He wanted someone to hand him something. So he's been surfing this thing because he probably got to that kind of wealth by no credit of his own. He just born into the right family, which is actually the truth. And, Donald Fisher, the father, is the one who accrued all this money. This guy is basically the son who inherited it. So the sense is not always there. He's just, hey, I'm going to measure myself by, do I grow my pie or do I lose my pie? And so guess what he did? He said, you know what? I'm already the owner. I'll just carve out a nice little tiny profit. I'll cry poor mouth. Eventually I'll get a stadium and I'll just basically just keep it in like kind of status quo mode. And that's what he's done to it. And then Billy Beane at first was complaining and bitching and moaning. And then he said, hey, Billy, guess what? Shut the fuck up. Here, I'll give you a little piece of the pie. So he gave Billy a little piece of the pie. Now Billy's totally bought and paid for. And it's just now they're just in that situation where they're just kind of waiting on somebody to give them something so they can start anew. I wouldn't say that Fisher, though, is the kind of guy who systematically runs things into the ground. He just found a strategy to kind of just make money in the present, accrue wealth, still own the asset, and now has used Cavill and his negotiating powers to find a partner that's going to now make his life better. But I'm not saying the A's are going to be a bad team.
Part of his strategy is killing the on-field product by not reinvesting in it. The money that he's made, and I think the A's were like the third or fourth most profitable team in all of baseball last year, is because he doesn't put his money back into the team. So he keeps it as
but
profit
the operating
for himself.
revenue was low.
He lines his pockets, not the dugout, with talent.
I mean, he's not going to lose money along the way to when he doesn't think he can compete for a World Series. So he's like, hey, let's just keep the lights on. We'll keep going and keep being attached to MLB.
Oh,
and because there's only so many teams in MLB, we'll get some sweetheart offer. I mean, it was an obvious play for somebody give me something. I'm a billionaire and I could build anything I want at any point, but I want somebody to give me something. It's a classic, situation of an owner just basically having an ownership. And the only real issue here is none of the other owners care enough about the well-being of the franchise and the fans. If they'd say they do, it's lip service. But what about the rest of the rank and file owners who know the business, know what's good business, know what's bad, know that he's operating in poor faith and allowed him to do it just because why not? They should have fought back on that because they're all tied to it and they're only as strong as their weakest franchise, and it's borderline major league. I mean, it's sad at this point. And then Alex, he killed the fan base. He killed the fan base.
He did. And that's the plot of Major League. We're going to drive down attendance so much that they'll have no choice but to relocate us.
Who are these fucking guys? Remember that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, they're shitty. They're not so shitty after all. The A's basically want the casinos to pay for the stadium, and right now the casinos and Mark Davis are their biggest opponents. And there's just this overwhelming, growing public saying, all right, well, we never really wanted a baseball team. If we're going to get one, let's do better than the A's. Like, that is basically the feeling coming out of Las Vegas, and I swear nothing would make me happier than to see Las Vegas just say, we are interested in being in the Major League Baseball business, but not at this particular time. And just wait for expansion. Wait for expansion. Again, whatever that expansion price would have been today, it'll be worth even 10 times more by the time they get around to it. So I hope Vegas lets the A's and John Fisher just rot. I really do.
I'll say this, though. You know how rare it is to get these opportunities. It's pretty rare. If Vegas makes this, if they pass on this,
let me just
they
ask,
may get a team, but it's going to take a while.
Don't mean to cut you off. Will Vegas, forget Vegas, will baseball ever expand?
Yes, within the next 5 years.
Well, then why not wait for that?
Well, but the thing is, that's not a guarantee. There's lots of things. There could be a third world war. I mean, there could be all kinds of different things going on that would prevent baseball. And we just saw a pandemic that severely impacted baseball's finances. I mean, it's a volatile world. At this point, I think we're all in that nothing's guaranteed mode. I think a lot of people have handled their assets that way. And I think, the A's are probably no different. I don't know. It's interesting. It would be an incredible thing for Oakland to see Vegas say, you know what, thanks, but no thanks. It would then they could make a movie about it. Then it would be a great movie because then it's like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. A team tried to leave. The A's would be the first team in major sports history that tried to leave and then got thwarted in the 11th hour by their mistress, basically.
Right.
I mean, it'd just be an incredible story.
It really would be. I am, like I said, juggling with kids. I've muted the microphone because I've coughed 30 times during this. I hope I got most of them muted on you, Larry. I forgot to bring my drink down here. My voice feels like sandpaper. But as usual, talking an hour of sports with you is the fastest hour of my day. You would think a smart radio station would put two guys like us on the air one day. But in the meantime, let's just go ahead and sit here and dominate the entire Bay Area sports conversation the way that we know how, in a brand new way that means we get to say whatever we want, because it's an awful lot of fun doing that, my friend. It's great being with you. As always, hit those lovely sponsors one more time on the way out the door.
Oh, yeah. On our show, check out the Krueger Show on YouTube. We just eclipsed 17,000 subs. Feeling really good about that. We're going to talk a little 49er football in the morning with one of their rookies. Won't tell you which one, but stop by. You can hear it. And then thanks to our sponsors, New York Style Italian Sausage and Pig in a Pickle, the title sponsor of the Krug Show, the Pig in a Pickle Krug Show, and Telmetrics, TELMETRIX.co. Thanks to all the people at Telmetrics. Thanks to all the sponsors for basically supporting our dream.
By the way, Brody Brazil is slipping in here saying, hello, fellow YouTubers. Hello, Brody. You know, there's a guy I would like to talk to.
Very talented.
About the A's situation. And I tell you what, Brody, let's talk about it soon. And I promise I won't ask you to say a single thing that will jeopardize your standing or that paycheck that the A's slip your way for doing pre and post for them. But look, man, Larry, it was always great to hang out with you. I want to thank my guy Ike for sponsoring Blackened Whiskey. Brody, I'm going to be sliding into your DMs real soon. We'll set something up. Yeah, well, hey now.
Hey now.
Now pitching, Dick Lovelady.
Dick Lovelady. It's time to go to Dick.
I guess we were talking so much about the A's there, just like the Brody Brazil spidey senses just started tingling, and he just jumped in here.
Somebody sent him a note saying, Damon Bruce right now is just lighting you up. Go listen. You have to be there. There's probably as many people watching this that was at the Coliseum for most of the games. Now
that we're at the end of the show and people started tailing off, absolutely.
Let's head out to the treehouse for a couple pops. I'm gonna meet up with Townie. We're gonna talk middle infielders. I did see the A's re-promoted Nick Allen. Good move there. I like Nick Allen.
I'm telling you, man. Next time Mason Miller's pitching, watch that kid. He throws gas.
Seriously.
All right, man. Good talking to you.
Later, man.
Larry Krueger, ladies and gentlemen, one of the best in the biz. We're very happy to be doing a little something that we call Home and Home most afternoons. Sometimes it's at 3, sometimes it's at 4. We'd love to get the schedule down, but kids, he's busy, I'm busy, things happen, so we do it when we can. We certainly appreciate you being here. Thanks to Ike. Thanks to Blackened Whiskey. Thanks to all of you for tuning in. And I had an awesome conversation with Nick Wright earlier today. Go ahead and check that out. That is up now on YouTube. Share, like, subscribe, do all those things. The algorithm needs you. To everyone who tuned in, really appreciate you being here. Have yourself a great Wednesday night, and please do remember that sports don't build character. They reveal it.